Welcome in to another video. A lot of you guys have been saying in the comments that I need to smile more, and that I sound too serious when I'm talking, or too monotone or something. I don't remember. I don't really know how to address that. I'm not gonna sit here alone and smile at the camera. If I say something funny or make myself laugh, so be it. But today in this video, I'm just going to be covering some of the free agents that are still available here in 2022 for the Chargers, how much cap space we have. Today is Saturday the 19th. Chargers really haven't done anything of significance in the last 3 or 4 days. Honestly, it's been a while. The signings are coming through pretty slowly around the league. There's been kind of some big news. Deshaun Watson yesterday, Devontae Adams the day before, I believe. But basically this video is just going to be from today until the draft, what would be an overview of the best case scenario in my opinion for the Chargers. So a couple of free agent signings, what the cap hits would be. So I mean, keeping it realistic, obviously, and then with those signings, I'm probably going to do a quick mock draft just because we did trade away a second round pick, but trading around with those picks, and seeing what players are going to be available to fill out our roster, I think is going to be valuable. So hopping into it, same guys at the top a little bit. I mean, really, Teron Armstead is I want to say he came into it as the biggest free agent on PFF's list. La'el Collins just got released. He visited with the Bengals today, I want to say, and he left without a deal. So the Bengals and the Dolphins are the two teams that have been linked to him so far. That doesn't mean that the Chargers haven't reached out to him. And I don't think PFF has a projected contract for him yet. My guess would be I mean, that's tough. Honestly, this isn't my job. Arjun something on Twitter. He's pretty good at this, and Chargers fan. Give him a follow. I don't know. Over 10 mil per year. Not a super long contract would be my guess. But within the Chargers price range, he would take up a bulk of the cap remaining. Let's just jump into this one. So this is Daniel Popper's little spreadsheet breakdown of the money, the salary cap that we spent, the moves that we've made so far, Khalil Mack, Mike Williams, the tenders, or restricted free agent tenders, the extensions, the deals, the cut of Brian Balaga, and then here we have 17.7 mil in spending space, because I want to say like about 7 mil we need for the rookies. So we're going to go into it with 17.7 million in mind of how much the Chargers can spend. I think that our defensive interior, we don't really need to address it, especially with a guy like Akeem Hicks, who would be a little bit more pricey. Through free agency, I think in the draft it's a possibility just for some depth. Edge 3 is still a need. Dwayne Brown still available. Julio Jones is an interesting guy. Justin Houston, Jerry Hughes, Steven Nelson, Alexander Johnson, Eric Fisher, Bryce Callahan, Jaron Kearse. Honestly, a lot of Chargers fans have been sort of pounding the table for Tyrann Mathieu. If he wants to take a cheap deal, sure. but I'm okay with Nazir and Derwin back there. Obviously, adding the other safety, what people are saying, and I can see the reasoning behind it would be if we can get another safety to play that two high scheme or like the two deep safeties. So we would have Nas in either a Jaron Curse or a I mean, that's not really his specialty, Jaron's, but if we had like a Tyrann Mathieu and a Nazir Adderley playing the two deep safeties, we would be able to line up Derwin more in the box, rush the passer a little bit more, line him up at linebacker a little bit more, and slot. Just get him closer to the line of scrimmage so that he has an opportunity to make more plays, which I would like. I don't hate the idea of in certain packages just having Alohi Gilman. I really liked what I saw from him last year. And with more time in the scheme, I think that he has potential to fulfill that role. Obviously, a guy like Tyrann Mathieu would be preferred. Trent Brown, still available. Janoris Jenkins just got released. Riley Reef, Billy Turner, Jermaine Ifedi. So I'm going to start it with Riley Reef is a very realistic option. I guess the Bengals didn't sign La'el Collins, so they do still sort of have a need at tackle. But 2 years, 14 mil, we could 7 mil per year, but we could get that down to for sure below a 5 mil cap hit in year one. Let's just look at. I've been arguing with some people on Twitter about the idea of signing Dwayne Brown or Trent Brown. Trent Brown is predicted to get 2 years, 22 mil, 11 mil per year. Could definitely get below like a $7 million cap hit year one though. I would rather have Trent Brown than Riley Reef personally. They're not going to have a projected contract for La'el Collins. This is a thing though. He has really only like produced or actually been good with the Patriots, which seems to be a trend throughout the NFL. But I think I would be willing to take a chance on a guy like Trent Brown. There's other options out there still, but I'm not going into the draft with a need at tackle. So right here, I'm going to go Trent Brown with this contract. Nope, that was my school schedule. But let's just say a 7 mil cap hit year one, which would give us 10 mil left to play with. I don't think Oday Ibushi is going to be on here. He is. He's only at 132. Attaboy. 1 year, 1.5 mil. So, yeah, we can. Let's just say 1 mil or 1 year. I'm just gonna copy and paste this whole thing. For Mr. Oday Ibushi, which I am a fan of, it brings back a little bit of continuity as well. He was with us last year. So now we have 8.8 million total taken off, which still leaves us with 9.5 about. And let's just look at the linebackers still available. We have Bobby Wagner. Too hard to project his contract nobody knows for sure where he really wants to go. Alexander Johnson is interesting. I don't remember what his cap hit looks like. Alexander Johnson, or what his projected contract, 2 years, 14 mil. So I could be below a 5 mil cap hit. I think linebacker, edge, and corner, as well as some depth on the O-line, would serve this team pretty well. Let's look at some of the other linebackers available, though. Dante Hightower, Anthony Barr, Nick something. I mean, oh, Kaiser White. If this is going to be my ideal Chargers rest of the offseason, so I'm probably just going to bring back Kaiser White. The Chargers, it sounds like they haven't really made an offer to Kaiser to bring him back yet. Not all that sure why. Kaiser White, yeah, 2 years, 12.5 mil. So I think we could definitely do a $4 million cap hit for year one. 4 mil cap hit, which gives us about 5.5 mil, I think, left over to play with. And with that, I'm going to look at, do they have it under D-end or edge? They have it under edge. Jadeveon Clowney, too expensive for my taste for this, for how our team is built at least. Melvin Ingram, honestly, would be interesting to bring back. Justin Houston, I want to say his projected contract was a little bit too rich for us. Not bad. Jason JPP. Rotational edge rusher, edge Arden Key. Not bad. Lorenzo Carter would be interesting. Takarius McKinley. Let's look at what Takarius McKinley's. Takarius McKinley, what his projected contract is. 1 year, 4 mil. I mean, number 3 edge. I think I'm going to go with Takarius McKinley. I'm just going to make sure that I spell it right. So I'm going to try and copy and paste this. Because I do want an edge 3 before we go into the draft. This draft is extremely rich at edge, but for such a valuable position, like Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa both have their injury concerns. And they're also not going to play every single snap of every single game. So a guy like Takarius McKinley to keep Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack fresh and not have, just to not have a huge need at edge 3 going into the draft. I think I'm like losing my voice right now. Sorry, guys. I'll try not to be monotone. I just think that this would be a quality depth signing. I could see a quality edge still being there in round 3 or 2 if we end up trading back up into the second round. But on a 1-year deal, I think is too important of a position, and I want to keep guys like Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack fresh on the field. I would probably let's address corner next. CB, Stephon Gilmore, I would be very interested in, but he's gonna be too expensive. Stephon Gilmore, yeah, 2 years. I mean, his cap hit would probably be could get below 8 mil. But as interesting as he would be, yeah, he's definitely excels in man coverage, but he's not the versatile guy that I would kind of want on this team. Especially for if we got Stephon Gilmore, who would probably end up being a starter. A little undersized. Steven Nelson would be an interesting pickup. Janoris Jenkins, I don't know what his contract would look like. Bryce Callahan, I'm interested in, and he might be the guy that we end up going with. Kyle Fuller as well, I would definitely be willing to take a flyer on. But let's look at Bryce Callahan first. Yeah, we're going to go with Bryce Callahan just because he hasn't been healthy recently, and I know that's every Chargers fan's worst nightmare, but when healthy, and Brandon Staley has been taking injuries and health very seriously, and we were a very, very healthy team last year. At his age, not giving him a lot of reps in training camp and practices throughout the week, having depth at that slot cornerback position, the versatility, when healthy, he is an elite slot cornerback. So as of right now, Asante Samuel's probably going to be kicking into that spot, but in the event that Michael Davis goes down, we can kick Asante back out to the outside because I like him personally more than Michael Davis on the outside. But then we could kick Asante back to the outside, have Bryce Callahan step in, elite slot cornerback play. Not miss a beat. J.C. Jackson goes down, unfortunately, kick Asante out, have Bryce Callahan step in. Asante goes out, Bryce Callahan, you guys get the idea. But I want at least one more corner, preferably with some versatility, obviously, but I'm going to spell this wrong. So 7 mil, 1.5, that's 8.5, 12.5, 16.5, and then, yeah, that would bring us right around, because we could get some of these guys down a little bit more. I'm underestimating the ability to take a lower cap hit in year one. So these signings would probably get us right around the mark of how much money we have left. And in addition, we could bring back a one guard or one tackle. I guess we don't need to bring back any more tackles. But that being said, 17.7 mil. We spent about that much bringing in Trent Brown to play right tackle. We need to address right tackle. Ode Ibushi, I love last year. He got hurt. Bring back on a 1-year flyer for cheap, for average play at guard. That's all you can ask for. Right guard, right tackle spot. Entire O-line solidified. Kaiser White, sort of a breakout year last year, but he hasn't signed with anybody yet. Sounds like the Chargers haven't even offered him yet. But if it was left up to me, I would bring him back for something around this deal. have that Drew Tranquil, Kaiser White combination again next year. And the run defense is going to be so much easier with the D-line that we've built up. Takaris McKinley for edge 3, rotational depth, same thing with Bryce Callahan. Let's jump into a quick mock draft simulator. There we go. And this is what I'm assuming the team is going to look like with the signings that I just made. So no matter what, Chargers aren't trading up, in my opinion. If anything, we're trading back, especially because Jameson Williams is off the board. None of these guys are sticking out to me at pick 17. For sure. So pick 24, I would be okay with pick 30. Realistically, we wouldn't trade back with the Chiefs. Lions probably have a shit ton of draft picks. So glancing at these guys, Bernard Raymond, no. Devontae Wyatt, I wouldn't hate, but I'm okay with our depth at D-line right now. We can get some guys later in the draft. Jordan Davis, same thing. Tyler Linderbaum, honestly, I wouldn't hate. Throw him in there at right guard or the first man up for any of the interior positions, and then just have him be the eventual successor for Corey Linsley. Now, Corey Linsley signed for a while, actually. I wouldn't hate Chris Olave. I just think that pick 17 is a little bit too rich for him. I would rather take Trevor Penning over Bernard Raymond personally. If we don't sign a right tackle, David Ajabo just tore his Achilles, probably won't be picked here. Jermaine Johnson, Andrew Booth, Jalen Petrie, Treylon Burks. So I'm most definitely okay trading back. Let's trade back this far. Highly doubt that we would be able to get, yeah, that's a little bit rich. And they don't really have a great second round pick. So let's see. I know that we wouldn't actually trade with the Chiefs. And that this is probably more than, that's a pretty sizable move up. 13 picks. This is somewhat realistic. I think it's a little bit more than we would be able to get. But I'm just going to stick with this. And obviously, we wouldn't trade with the Chiefs. But in this situation, if the mock draft sim says that we can do it, we're doing it. So here we have Andrew Booth Jr., extremely tempting. Lewis Seen, honestly, also pretty tempting. Sky Moore, Jalen Petrie, Boye Mafe, Leo Chanel, Daxon Hill, Brian Asamoah, Travis Jones, Arnold Epiketti, like any of these guys, especially with a second round pick, I would love. There's just so many guys that I feel confident in starting day one, even in the second round. Not as many blue chip guys in this draft, but I still think that there's a lot of quality to be found on day two. That's such a non-take, like horrible. But every single year there's still quality by round two. I don't know. But I'm a fan of some of the guys in round two. Andrew Booth, we got to think about value and that fifth year option. I kind of like Andrew Booth here, honestly. I think that's who I'm going to go with. We have pick 62. Yeah. Addressing some of the D-line or possibly a linebacker, wide receiver with the second and third round picks. But Andrew Booth Jr., like, first of all, Devontae Adams, like, there's the AFC West is stacked. Andrew Booth Jr., if he has a great training camp, looks better than Michael Davis, sit Michael Davis. He can come in for some packages. He can be the first guy in if anybody goes down. If Andrew Booth needs a year to develop, which a lot of corners probably do, just to get kind of used to the NFL, corners normally struggle the first year in the league. But Michael Davis, I don't think has a monster contract. He's not signed for that much longer. J.C. Jackson, Andrew Booth, and Asante Samuel, having that be our cornerback trio for the next 5 years, I would be a huge fan of that. Plus, I think it's really the only value pick still available here. So I'm going Andrew Booth in round 1. Now, corner would definitely be redundant with any of these next couple picks, possibly later in the draft. Possibly. Glancing here, Brandon Smith is a guy who's been rising pretty recently, I feel like. Kellen Diesch, I like. Christian Watson has to go way higher than this after his combine. If he's still here within the next 2 picks, I'm probably going to look at him. Dameon Pierce, I just can't get behind taking a running back in the first 2 or 3 rounds. Calvin Austin, obviously. But there's still value here at the tail end of round 2. And I guess I'm just torn between Kingsley Nagbare and I need to figure out if I'm saying his name correctly. And Abraham Lucas. That is tough. I think I would go with Kingsley here, just because we do have. You guys should flame me for this, but we do have Trey Pipkins, Storm Norton, Brandon Hymus. We do have some guys there, and we can find interior guys later in the draft for depth. Abraham Lucas would be a very, very quality, possibly first man up after Trey Pipkins. A part of me is interested to see how Trey Pipkins can play right now. He might be a quality right tackle, average, but I'm too scared to have him actually start there right now. If a guy goes down, I'll be very interested to see how he plays. So I think having an edge 4 right now, we do still have Chris Rumph, but I like Kingsley Nagbare a little bit more than him. Plus, in a couple years, if Khalil can't stay healthy, I mean, he's a quality edge in round 2. That's really all you need to say. But more explanation. If Khalil Mack does get hurt, continue to get hurt in the next 2 or 3 years, and we have to cut him, we have a little bit of experience and depth at that position. Within the first 100, 120 picks, though, you just want to take, ideally, best player available at valuable positions to get valuable, cheap contracts. Brian Asamoah, falling this far is tough. He just hasn't. He came in really light at the combine, didn't have a great combine or pro day. I don't even know what drills he did, actually. I want to say he only did bench at his pro day. Dylan Parham, Darian Beavers. I'm going to go Christian Watson here, honestly. There's no way he's still going to be here in the 3rd round. Some people have been talking about him sneaking into the 1st, but he had a true all-time combine. Okay, so they do have it kind of updated. Is he actually? I don't know if he's actually 6'5". That would be a monster of a receiver. But look at this guy's combine numbers across the board. Incredibly elite athlete, um, as well as deep speed. I think probably an upgrade over Jalen Guyton as well for wide receiver. For him, did Calvin, what's his name? Calvin Austin? Yeah, Calvin Austin also already got picked, so definitely going Christian Watson here. I'm probably not going to address tight end in this draft. I don't really think we need one, as long as we address wide receiver a little bit more. Today, who was it? Robert Tonyan got signed, and there's only like 2 or 3 actual tight ends left on the market, and a lot of Chargers fans are saying, I think it's Gerald Everett and Jared Cook and somebody else, and Kyle Rudolph. And a lot of Chargers fans are talking about how it's one of these 3 guys, or we have to address in the draft. I don't really think that's the case at all. I went into the offseason saying I'm okay just bringing back the guys that we had, other than Jared Cook, like Trey McKitty, Steven Anderson, Donald Parham. I'm okay with that trio at tight end. They both have different skill sets, provide different things. This is a very weak tight end class in the draft. There's some toolsy guys, but they just haven't produced in college at all. And I think we have other needs for depth in tight end personally. And as long as our wide receiver group can have weapons, targets for Justin Herbert, and we also have Donald Parham, who's a red zone monster and just so underrated after the catch. I don't think we need to address tight end. Darian Beavers, Damian Pierce, Khalil Shakir, Donovan West, JoJo Doman, Luke Fortner, Romeo Dubes, Luke Gadecki. I like Luke Gadecki a good bit. Marquise Hayes. I'm trying to remember what Marquise Hayes did. I want to say he put up a monster bench at some point. Myjai Sanders is a big faller. But here, so we've gone, did we address linebacker yet? Went Andrew Booth, and then Kingsley, and then Christian Watson. I'm probably going linebacker here, honestly. Darian Beavers had a pretty good combine. And literally anything to keep Kenneth Murray off the field in important situations. I'll take a shot on Darian Beavers. Kaiser White, Drew Tranquill, and then Darian Beavers and Kenneth Murray, when their skill sets like suit the situation. Whatever we need for a buffer for Kenneth Murray, I'm taking. Running back, I would probably not address until if one of the top ones fell to like round 4 or 5, then maybe, but probably late in the draft. Corner, we have pretty good depth there. Zach Tom. Probably going to go Zach Tom, just because I've already sort of drafted a lot of depth on defense across the board, kind of. Zion McCollum. What's our next pick? I'm gonna go Zion McCollum with the next pick, but I'm going Zach Tom here. Just O-line depth. But, yep, Zion McCollum. Look at this dude's combine. They don't even have it. Why would they? They haven't had it for anybody else. But this guy tested out like 90th percentile or above in every single drill. Sam Houston State just had an all-time combine under the radar, and sit him for a year or two, doesn't even have to see the field. But if he can put it all together, like the most upside of nearly any corner in the NFL, assuming he puts some of it together, it's still a quality depth piece just because of how freaky of an athlete he is. And we still have a lot of picks left, so I'm probably just gonna fly through these ones. I haven't taken I like Kevin Austin too, honestly. I might take him in a couple picks. I'm probably just going to go Neil Farrell here. More D-line depth since I didn't address it early in the draft with a guy like Devontae Wyatt or Jordan Davis. Or more interior D-line depth. Hassan Haskins, Matt Ariza. Kevin Austin did get picked, which is unfortunate. I was probably about to take him. Yeah, we're getting into tight end, running back area, in my opinion, and Matt Ariza area as well. 6'4", 235, but a graduate. I don't know. The only thing that intrigues me is this the guy who ran the fastest 40? Only thing that intrigues me about tight ends late in the draft, this year at least, is frame. Like, if you're 6'4" and above, have tight end size, and are a pretty good athlete, that's the only way I'm going to be interested, just because I don't really think it's a huge need. But if they hit, like a George Kittle hit or something like that late in the draft, great. Brad Hawkins, haven't watched any of his tape, but I'm going to go with Matt Ariza here. We're looking for continuity on the special teams. That's why we signed the long snapper from the Falcons. Just 4 years, pretty cheap deal. I didn't love it when I saw it. You can get a long snapper anywhere. Bunters are harder to come by, but our special teams have been pretty bad for a while. We'll bring back Dustin Hopkins, and if we get a guy like Matt Ariza, the 3 core special teamers, long snapper, punter, kicker, those could be not building blocks, but consistent for the next at least 4 years, hopefully. Kicker, we'll see about, but continuity at those positions just helps you, especially not be a bottom 10 team. I don't care about being a top 10 special team unit. I still want to be a bottom 5 or bottom 10. And then here, Austin Deculus dropped this far. That's my man. If you guys have seen the other videos, Deculus has been at the pool at my little apartment complex a lot. I think his girlfriend might live here. Let's look at just the sizes. 5'10", 205, and then CJ Verdell is 5'8", 211. That's a big boy. I think I'm going to go. There is a safety. 6'3", 225. 6'3", 225. That's a pretty big safety. I'm going to go running back here. CJ Verdell. Justin Herbert's guy. Just flyers in the 7th round, really. If they hit, great. If they don't, who cares? We have Austin Eckler, and we can sign somebody else, whoever, as long as they're average and know how to not fumble. You can find running backs anywhere. Literally anywhere. Travis Dye was the smaller Oregon running back. Trey Sterling, I know this name. I guess I have watched some Oregon State highlights before. And that's who I'm going to go with because we have Mark Webb, we have Alohi Gilman, Nazir Derwin. But I do like the idea of if any of those guys do hit, Alohi, Mark Webb, or Trey Sterling, if they're good enough to even just average capable of being a starter, throw them in there and alongside Nazir and get Derwin closer to the line of scrimmage. Obviously, not much left here. So I'll probably, honestly, just go for more depth. Maybe a kicker for some competition with Dawson Hopkins. Don't remember which kicker was better at all. So it's kind of hard to pick one. I'll pick him with the next pick. Here, I'm going to go probably just O-line depth, whoever the first guy is. BYU. The Y. Let's go. Kicker. I'm just going to take the higher one on PFF's draft board. I'm not saying he'll replace Dustin Hopkins, but training camp competition, another leg. And if he just lights it up in training camp, looks like the second coming of Justin Tucker or something, then great. We can roll with him into the season. But here is a quick overview of the draft. Andrew Booth, Kingsley Nagbare, Christian Watson, Darian Beaver, Zach Tom, Zion McCollum, Neil Farrell, back-to-back San Diego State. CJ Verdell, Trey Sterling, James Empey, Cameron Dicker, overall draft grade A-. And then those are the rest of the free agent signings that I did. Honestly, if this is how the draft turned out, I also wouldn't hate going wide receiver round 1 at all. If a guy like Jameson Williams or Garrett Wilson's skill set would be more redundant than Jameson Williams' skill set. But if either one of them are there at 17, I think they're good enough to sit there and take, and we can figure out a different way to get some quality guys in rounds 2 and 3 through trades, hopefully. But if this is how our team looked, we would be extremely deep on defense. We already have the stars. We just need some average players and some depth to, in case of injury, we don't look like we did last year. And then offense, we addressed the right side of the offensive line for starters through free agency, and then got depth here in the draft with Zach Tom and James Empey. Trey Sterling, just another flyer on a safety. Same with CJ Verdell, Daniel Bellinger, just late round, low position of value guys. And if they turn out, great. If they don't, that's okay. Training camp, rotational guys. I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope nothing big happened while I was making this video. Actually, I do hope something big happened. Hopefully we signed a right tackle, and hopefully we did all of these signings while I was making this video. But like, comment, subscribe. My views have taken a hit, but that's okay. I'm all about that grind. Or views took a hit in comparison to the one video that just for some reason blew up. Not even blew up, it has like 2,000 views, but that's a lot for me. I love each and every one of my 63 subscribers. I don't remember who the first one was. I would recognize the name if I saw it. I don't think he comments a lot. Original one, you're a monster. You comment like 3 times on every single Chargers video that I see. I need to stop saying I said every video as well. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think of my new logo as well. And I will see you guys in the next video.